Hi everyone, so this is your work for Friday the 5th of June for your Tectonics lesson. So this lesson is all about volcanic hazards, and if you look in your pack at the page entitled Volcanic Hazard, you can see that volcanoes, when they occur, have the potential to cause the following hazards. We've split these up into different areas in terms of the hazards and the areas which are affected. So you've got local hazards, which include pyroclastic flow, lava flow, and volcanic landslides. You've got regional hazards, which tend to be water-based, so a lahar and a Jokulhor, or a glacial lake outburst flood. And then you've got international hazards, so you've got airborne hazards, which are toxic gases and ash falls. Different volcanoes and their associated eruption types, which you learnt about in your previous lesson, will have different hazards associated with them, and you'll see in your pack that each hazard will be explored in turn on the following pages. What I've done is I've created a new document for Activity 5 because in the pack on Moodle and the one I uploaded for you, some of the boxes and pages are overlapping, so I've actually created you a new page, a new document with just the pages for Activity 5 on. Now, Activity 5 is quite a long activity, so because of this, I'm giving you a week to complete this. Okay, so it's due in the 12th of June, uploaded to Microsoft Forms by 8 o'clock on the 12th of June, please. What I'd like you to do for this activity is I would like you to create a summary table and then an evaluative analysis table to outline, first of all, what the definitions, the characteristics and examples of each hazard are, but then to think about the impacts of that hazard. As you can see in your pack, you've got a definitions link for each, which will give you each hazard's definition. So for example, ashfall, here is the definitions page. Characteristics of the hazard and some specific examples can be found on the second link. Okay, and again, click the little hyperlinks and you can see those hazards explained there with examples. Additional examples, if you haven't already got enough, you've got a web link for each example in the table in your pack. But again, if you click the third link, you can see some additional examples. So what you'll end up with for each of those hazards is a summary table. You can get it just one screen here. Okay, so you'll find a summary table. You'll create a summary table for each hazard. So here's one which I'm going to attach as a document for you for ashfall, which I have created. Okay, so you'll end up with that level of detail. Then what I'd like you to do for each hazard is I'd like you to use the evaluative table on the next page to critically analyse the potential impacts of that hazard and use evidence from the first page to provide the evidence in the boxes to back up any points which have been made. Okay, so again you can see here that the table is complete for ashfall. So what scale is the hazard? Is it international, regional, local? Have you got any evidence? As you can see for ashfall, you've got evidence for all of those different scales. Does it have human or physical impacts, or both? And again, you can see for ashfall, different case studies have got different impacts. Some case studies have got impacts that are both human and physical, some are just human, some are just physical, and can you justify that with evidence? What time scale are the impacts likely to have an effect for? So long term, short term. Again, you can see different impacts at different volcanoes have got different impacts. Are the impacts primary impacts? So did they have an immediate effect, or did they have a secondary knock-on effect? And again, you can see in the example when you look at it that some have had primary, some have had secondary, some have had a combination. Can the impacts of that hazard be perceived differently in different contexts? So who are the winners, who are the losers, why? Do different areas perceive the hazard differently for different reasons? Different types of people? Is the hazard perceived differently through time? Have you got different examples of the same effect? And again, you can see some examples there for different volcanoes. And then do we have any interactions or any links between those different things we've outlined above? Okay, and again, you can see that for each of those boxes, I've tried to give you a little example, but you could go into even more detail than that. You're going to be tested on your definitions, the characteristics and the key information via a Microsoft Forms quiz. So make sure you're prepared on Friday the 12th of June to attempt that quiz. As I've said, you must upload evidence of your completion to Microsoft Teams by 8 o'clock on the 12th of June. So it can be a photo, it can be an actual Word document. And then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to work as a group to work together to complete the blank overall table, which I'm going to upload into the files section of the group chat. So you can work together as a group of 2 classes, so about 40 or so students, to complete the perfect summary of activity 5 between you. Okay, you can do this anonymously, so you can do as much or as little as you want, but it would be really good if you could work as a group to complete that table, and that's due in by the 12th of June at 8 PM as well. Thank you.